So hey y'all, I just saw a comment that if Merrick Garland had did his job, we would not be in this position. And I had to laugh because it is very childish to try to point a finger and blame one person for the shit show that we are currently embroiled in. Nobody is looking in the mirror at their own damn reflection. So let me do it for you. Because first of all, Garland was after the fact. After the fact that the idiots in this country voted for him in the first place. I'm not talking about this third time or the second time, but the first time. You see, there were plenty of us who already clocked his tea way back in 2016. And to be honest, I had already told people in 2015 that he was the one who was going to win. Now listen, people laughed at me and said there is no way that man will ever be president. He's tried this before. But see, the fault of America, and what continues to be the fault of America, is that individuals always only think about themselves. They always only process the world through their individual impact. But not us neurospicy people. We don't have the filter to only think about ourselves. We neurospicy people take in information from everywhere with no discernment. You know, it's like walking into a room and being able to smell everything that's in it, not just the new thing that humans have adapted to. So let's start there with the people with daddy issues that look to this man as their surrogate father. That was a problem in the first place. And if you remember what people were saying, the reason they were supporting him is because he had no filter, is because he was saying the things that they were thinking and weren't allowed to say. So they were okay with the racism, the misogyny, the gluttony, the excess, the predatorism, the predator nature he had, the fact that he was named in a court filing for being a perpetrator against a 13-year-old female victim, along with his buddy, who is supposedly no longer with us. And this was all before November 2016. They were okay with a failed businessman with 6 bankruptcies running the country because they convinced themselves, because they saw his name everywhere, that he was a great businessman. Despite the fact that there was documentary after documentary that was coming out to tell you that A, he was not a billionaire, B, he didn't own much, he licensed his name, and 3, he was so failed that his daddy had to keep bailing him out, and 4, he was not no self-made nothing, 5, that he was wrong and put a hit on 5 black teenagers in New York because he is so reactionary that he doesn't bother to wait for truth to come out. We knew all of this before November 2016. They wanted a politician that didn't know politics. Where we do this at, yo? So we're really gonna blame Merrick Garland for this guy. We knew all of this before the primary of 2016, before the vote of 2016. We knew, exclamation, underline, bold font, knew all of this before November 2016. But we gonna blame Garland. See, a lot of y'all treated the presidency like homecoming court. Whose ever name you saw the most is the one who deserves it. What? Because he was so good at the branding of his name. So good at being an actor on a television show where, if you notice, he didn't make a single decision. His daughter did. All he said was 2 words with his caterpillar lips. You're fired. That's all he knew how to say, because he didn't know how to run a business. If you notice, he had smarter people around him, and that's what happened in 1.0. He had smarter people around him. He still had the stupid ones, the ones whose careers completely dovetailed because of him. But he had people who was like, nah, you can't do that. Because they knew the Constitution, they knew real politics, they knew diplomacy. And he made sure nobody could tell him no this time. Like a petulant child, he made sure he only put other bullies into his court. And you still went for him because, hey, he made it through. The Constitution itself said he couldn't run. The Constitution itself said he couldn't run. He had to take that to court. And you gonna blame Garland? Baby, let me tell you how hard Jack Smith was working to get this junk in and out before November. And then before January 6th, or whatever January it landed on this year, that man bust his butt. But guess who kept stopping him? And I'm ashamed to say this woman's name because she got my last name. But Judge Cannon, she was the last stop. She was. Because she put block and obstacle after block and obstacle in front of this man so that he could not drag all this stuff in front of him. The fact that you're blaming Garland, who went and got the best prosecutor to handle it afterwards. Granted, like I said, it was 2 years slow. Okay? I'm not going to knock that. That part is true. He was 2 years slow. But Jack the Bulldog Smith had written his report and his findings so thoroughly on the Orange Menace that had he been able to take this to court and get a judgment in time, none of this would have been able to happen. But it still falls on the American people because y'all still did this shit. Knowing everything from 2016 on forward to 2024, in this 8-year window, everything we've seen this man do, you still accepted. Some of y'all dumbasses voted for him 3 times. And some of y'all even dumber asses voted for him the first time in 24. How the hell? You have to check your own misogyny. You have to check your own misogyny. Because I was going to say it couldn't be racism because we did elect Obama twice. But there's something about having a black woman lead you. Because yes, y'all disregarded the fact that she was also half Asian. Only black people who were under the influence of idiocy was like, but she's not black because she's mixed and she's married to a Jewish man. Are you fucking kidding me? And then the rest of y'all, she take AIPAC money. I guess you haven't been paying attention to America. Because if you hadn't noticed, America's in bed. In bed. But you know who's actually taking it further than just being in bed with Israel? The man y'all hired. This man is thinking resorts, and he was thinking about it before November. Yeah, Garland, right?